Hello, my name's Ted Probert, and as part of our Winter Ag Series presentations, one of the things we're going to talk about is forage quality. And if you know, as we use forage quality in balancing rations or determining usage that we're going to make of our hay, the big issue is that we need to have the analysis available to us, and it needs to be an accurate analysis. And so what I'd like to demonstrate in the next few minutes is how to take a sample of a lot of hay and in a manner that will yield good results that we can utilize in ration balancing or designation of how we're going to use a certain lot of forage. So first off, we have here some hay. And the thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to identify a lot of hay. And by a lot of hay for sampling, we mean hay that was cut on the same day, out of the same field. In other words, it's all the same thing. We don't want to start mixing hay that was cut at different dates or off of different fields, because likelihood is that that hay is not going to be of the same quality. So we've done that. What we have here is a lot of hay, and this is grass hay, mixed grass hay that we're going to sample. And the thing that we want to talk about in sampling hay is that we want to use one of these devices, and this is called a hay probe or a hay core. And one of the things that we see from time to time is people want their hay sampled, and what they'll bring in is just a handful of hay that they've grabbed out of a bale and ask us to have their analysis done on that. Well, that is not the best way to sample hay. As with anything you're sampling, we need to have a representative sample. And if you'll visualize, for example, a field of hay out here, you know, there are differences across that field in terms of what's growing, the maturity, maybe some weeds and different kinds of things. And so just one sample from one spot in that field is not going to be the best determining factor on the true quality of what you have in your barn. And we have to remember that this little sample of just a small bag of hay is representing several tons of actual feed. The thing I'd like to show you here is the methodology that we'd use in actually pulling cores, taking the samples from the hay. I have a couple different types of forage probes here. This is the hay probe. I've got it on a brace. That works fine if you're willing to work that way. Or this is a Penn State forage probe. We have it on a drill and take some of the work out of what the task of doing this. An advantage I like about this one is it has a canister that collects your hay samples as you're pulling the cores. This one here has to be removed in between each coring, but to empty the cylinder. But anyway, you simply just take your piece, your device, go into the end of the bale. If the bale and if the issue that we see a lot of times if we're sampling large bales, big bales that have been outside, might be some spoilage on the outside. We'd want to rake that back, get that out of our way. But then you simply just take your bit, your drill, and drill into the end of that bale, and we want to go as far as we can until it starts to bog down. Get at least maybe 16 to 18 inches. So now I've pulled this core out of this bale of hay, and as I mentioned, with this we could do the entire project or the entire process and it would be gathered in this canister. With this one we don't have a canister, so we need to remove the probe on each bale. We would then dump it into our collection bag. Usually it takes a little bit of force to get the hay out. We have a dowel rod here that we're plunging it out with, and as you can see, there's my first core. We would repeat this 20 times, 20 different bales, randomly throughout the stack of hay. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to collect about a half a pound. That's going to be a biggest end of this bag full. And then we would take our ink pen, and as you can see here, I have labeled this hay. This is the sample. We want to know what we have when we get our results back. So this is mixed grass hay of 2021. Couple things that we don't want to do once we have this sample. We don't want to subdivide lots, particularly in legume hay, because we have a tendency for the leaves and the stems to separate out. So what we want to do is we want to send the entire sample into the testing lab that we have taken. We have gathered our sample. We want to submit it as quickly as possible. No need in letting them lie around.